Welcome to Shining Vale.
Patricia, what are you doing in my house?
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Reshma.
How are you? Thank you so
Amazing.
much for doing this with me. I grew up in Connecticut, so mildly terrifying to watch your show every day.
Good. Good.
Sharon,
Good
I have to say, you're so great at writing couples getting together and falling apart in such a funny and real and vulnerable way. Catastrophe to this day is just a work of art. So can you tell me what drew you to the horror genre, and where did you get your inspiration for this show?
I've always loved horrors ever since I was little, and I've always loved writing about relationships. And you know, I had the feeling that if you were gonna do a sort of horror comedy sort of crossover thing, you'd need to you know, have fairly high stakes, I suppose. Yeah. And the idea of it being, you know, like The Shining, but funny, was the thing that sort of motivated it. But also it was this idea that, you know, you don't really know if this woman is losing her mind or not. And I kind of feel like, certainly as a woman of the age I am now, that makes so much sense to me. And I, you know, I figured it would be quite, you know, quite a relatable thing as well. And really, Jeff came in such early doors, you know, really I'd only sort of written it up as an outline when Jeff came on, and then the whole world sort of, you know, fleshed out. I
love how you take the trope of women being crazy and you just kind of flip it on its head. You guys do that so well. So here's a question for both of you. Did you write this with Courteney in mind? Jeff, I know you wrote for Friends early on. Sharon, I assume you've seen an episode of Friends. So
I watch it every single day. Every day I watch Friends.
It's very funny because and I'm always hesitant because then the story is Astrof Horgan didn't want Cox, you know, like it was like, that's like when I, you know, Sharon and I talked about this and Infinite, like a lot, we met together, we talked about it, and I wrote the script with a lot of help from Sharon, and everyone said, oh, Sharon's going to be great in this. And we're like, no, Sharon was never, it was just in my mind, it was just Pat Phelps who this character was. And, you know, we had talked about different people and nobody was perfect. And then Courteney calls me out of the blue after 25 years and is like, hey, I just read your script. Like, the reason that she wasn't like our first call was just because we didn't want this to be Scream. And we kind of saw like, okay, that's what Courteney does with horror. And it's kind of Scream has its own thing and fairly successful. I guess they're still shooting it. But she said, no, this is like, I want to do something like this. I want to do something about a woman this age. I want to do, like, nobody writes anything for specifically my age, and she has a daughter. And so I would say that it wasn't written for her in mind, but when the first time I heard her read the script, I think I changed maybe one or two lines that were a little clunky, like the same way, like I wrote it for the house and then we cast the house. I had to change one little thing. Like it was just meant to be with her. I mean, she just crushed it. So much stuff that she did, like, was so deep and so effective just because she was dealing with it. And it was just like, it made us cry. It made us scared. It made us like, and it made her too. Like she, you know, she's talked about this too. Like this was like a very cathartic role for her, I think.
Used to tickle the ivories at college. I went to Penn. So, oh, it's dead.